I'm just gonna jump right into the video, and I'm reusing hair from our line. This is the Burmese Curly, and this is my second time using this hair. So I washed it and conditioned it, and this is what it looks like after, or while it's still wet. And here's what it looks like once it's dry. You see it brought it back to life. So I've already pre-braided half of my hair, and then the other half is in a bun because I'm going to work with that separate. But right now, I'm just taking the tracks and working right to left. I'm not going to cut the tracks because it takes more time. So I'm just going to work from right to left and just fold the track. And when I sew with the needle going upward. And when I knot the thread, I wrap it around about 3 or 4 times around the needle, and then I pull it through, and that usually keeps it secure. Here you see again where I'm wrapping the thread around the needle, and it's so easy for this thread to get tangled. So sometimes you just have to pull slow, otherwise you will keep cutting the thread because it's going to keep getting tangled if you move too fast. Once I get right in front of the ear, I just flip the track the other way and start sewing again, going the opposite way. And I normally, when I sew my tracks or sew my wefts, I go ear to ear and stop. I'm going to speed the video up now because all I'm doing is just repeating sewing it back and forth all the way until I get to the top. So I'm continuing to sew from left to right, and I'm trying to close it up, creating a small hole. And this way it kind of hides the tracks. So I forgot to mention that I normally, when I'm working with like 2 or 3 bundles, and in this case I was just trying to hurry up and get this done, but usually when I'm working with 2 or 3 bundles, I double those and sometimes triple the tracks on top of each other. And with these wefts, these are my bundles, so you can do that because they come so flat, and normally I have to do that in order to fit it all in because the length of these bundles are about triple the length of what you would buy from AliExpress or most other vendors. So here you want to take your time because this is where the wefts can easily come loose, especially where you're sewing left to right. Like, you have to make sure you sew enough times on each ends or they'll start coming loose, because people get rough with their hair if you're doing other people's hair like this. But most of the time when you're trying to, especially curly hair, if you're trying to comb the hair out, it's pulling on the wefts, and each pull is going to eventually loosen up more and more. So I'm going to try to make sure it's real tight on the ends, and I go over it a couple of times. Now that I'm done sewing all the wefts in the back, I'm about to work with the front of my hair. And yes, this is cuticle oil that I'm using, and I like to actually use this on my hair. I don't use this on anybody else's hair, but this is the only oil I really have at home, so it actually works perfect on my hair. So I'm just going to rub a little oil on the front of my hair and where I'm going to flat iron it before I flat iron it. I guess you could use like a heat glide, or you can actually use the heaviest oil, because up front it really doesn't matter, except you don't want to use it in the spot where you put the edge control, because the edge control in oil makes your edge control turn white. So looking back at the video, I didn't wear this style for a month before I put this video out, but I see that I didn't leave or sew a track at the top. So what you want to do, you do want to finish the track over the last braid. And now what I'm doing is creating a base, because I'm about to sew the wefts onto this bun. So now I have taken about 3 bundles, not 3 bundles, 3 wefts folded together, and I'm sewing each of them around the bun, starting from the top and then working my way to the bottom. So this is, once again, the beginning of the track is the most important part, so you have to sew tight Make sure you knot that a couple of times before you go around. And as you're sewing around, you don't have to keep knotting every time you go around the bun. You can roll the tracks 3 times and then sew it if you don't feel like making all those knots going around. Make sure as you're sewing your wefts that you are sewing the tracks going upward. And as I'm going around, I normally hold all the tracks up and keep sewing going up, even though I'm moving down to the bottom. And then once I get to the bottom, I might sew 1 or 2 rows going down or laying down. As you see, I'm laying this last row down, or I'm sewing the last row down, and I'm doing this to create a more fuller look. I don't want everything pulled up. I want some to come down to my face. So this is why I'm laying and sewing the last row down. So here you see the bun has created a fuller look along with me tripling the tracks around the bun. And now I'm just playing with it, trying to get it to fall into place and styling it how I want it. So here is my half up, half down method. If you want to see more videos, subscribe. And if you would like to see a certain look, leave it in a comment. I may make a video on it.